Hey y'all, it's Kim. So this is the Iran nuclear deal. It's the JCPOA, or the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Attack. So pretty much the EU plus three. So there's a few countries that were trying to block Iran from basically getting enough uranium or plutonium to make nuclear weapons. So that's basically the whole point of this. Go back and watch the other videos. This is video 8 of this because this has 29 pages. I'm just probably going to do just maybe 3 or 4 pages out of this one. Maybe 5. We'll see because it just gets a little lengthy. And anyway, okay. So G, centrifuges, research and development. 32, Iran will continue to conduct enrichment R&D in a manner that does not accumulate enriched uranium for 10 years and consistent with its enrichment R&D plan. Iran's enrichment R&D with uranium will only include IR4, IR5, IR6, and IR8 centrifuges. Mechanical testing on up to 2 single centrifuges for each type will be carried out only on the IR2M, IR4, IR5, IR6, IR6S, IR7, and IR8. Iran will build or test with or without uranium only those gas centrifuges specified in this JCPOA. Consistent with its plan, Iran will continue working with the 164 machine IR2M cascade at PFEP in order to complete the necessary tests until 30th of November 2015, or the day of implementation of this JCPOA, which comes later. And after that, it will take these machines out of the H or PFEP and store them under IAEA continuous monitoring at Natanz and Hall B of FEP. Consistent with its plan, Iran will continue working with the 164 machine IR4 cascade of PFEP in order to complete the necessary tests until 30th of November 2015, or the day of implementation of this JCPOA, whichever comes later. And after that, it will take these machines out of the PFEP and store them under IAEA continuous monitoring at Natanz and Hall B of FEP. Iran will continue the testing of a single IR4 centrifuge machine and IR4 centrifuge cascade of up to 10 centrifuge machines for 10 years. Iran will test a single IR5 centrifuge machine for 10 years. Iran will continue testing of the IR6 on single centrifuge machines and its intermediate cascades, and will commence testing of up to 30 centrifuge machines from 1.5 years before the end of the 10-year or year 10. Iran will proceed from single centrifuge machines and small cascades to intermediate cascades in a logical sequence. Iran will commence upon start of implementation of the JCPOA testing of the IR8 on single centrifuge machines and its intermediate cascades, and will commence the testing of up to 30 centrifuges machines from 1.5 years before the end of year 10. Iran will proceed from single centrifuges to small cascades to intermediate cascades in a logical sequence. For 10 years, Iran, consistent with the established practice, will recombine the enriched and depleted streams from the IR6 and IR8 cascades through the use of welded pipework on withdrawal main headers in a manner that precludes the withdrawal of enriched and depleted uranium materials and verified by the IAEA. For 15 years, Iran will conduct all testing of centrifuges with uranium only at the PFEP. Iran will conduct all mechanical testing of centrifuges only at the PFEP in the Tehran Research Center. For the purpose of adapting PFEP to the R&D activities in the enrichment R&D plan, Iran will remove all centrifuges except those needed for testing, as described in the relevant paragraphs above, except for the IR1 cascade number 1, as described below. For the full IR1 cascade number 6, Iran will modify associated infrastructure by removing UF6 pipework, including subheaders, valves, and pressure transducers at cascade level, and frequency inverters. The IR1 cascade number 1 centrifuges will be kept but made inoperable, as verified by the IAEA, through the removal of centrifuge rotors and the injection of epoxy resin into the subheaders, feeding product and tails pipework, and the removal of controls and electrical systems for vacuum, power, and cooling. Excess centrifuges and infrastructure will be stored at Natanz in Hall B of FEP under IAEA continuous monitoring. The R&D space in line number 6 will be left empty until Iran needs to use it for its R&D program. Consistent with the activities in the enrichment R&D plan, Iran will maintain cascade infrastructure for testing of single centrifuges and small and intermediate cascades in 2 R&D lines, number 2 and number 3, and will adopt 2 other lines, number 4 and 5, with infrastructure similar to that for lines number 2 and 3, in order to enable future R&D activities as specified in this JCPOA. Adoption or adaptation, will include modification of all UF6 pipework, including removal of all subheaders, except as agreed, as needed for the R&D program, and associated instrumentation to be compatible with single centrifuges and small and intermediate cascade testing instead of full-scale testing. Consistent with its plan and internationally established practices, Iran intends to continue R&D on new types of centrifuges through computer modeling and simulations, including at universities. For any such project to proceed to a prototype stage for mechanical testing within 10 years, a full presentation to and approved by the Joint Commission is needed. The Fordow Fuel Enrichment Plant. The Fordow Fuel Enrichment Plant, or FFEP, will be converted into a nuclear physics and technology center, and international collaboration will be encouraged in agreed areas of research. The Joint Commission will be informed in advance of the specific projects that will be undertaken at Fordow. Iran will not conduct any uranium enrichment or any uranium enrichment related R&D, and will have no nuclear material at the Fordow Fuel Enrichment Plant, or FFEP, for 15 years. For 15 years, Iran will maintain no more than 1044 IR1 centrifuge machines at one wing of the FFEP, of which 46.1 is 2 cascades that have not experienced UF6 before will be modified for the production of stable isotopes. The transition to stable isotope production of these cascades at FFEP will be conducted in joint partnership between the Russian Federation and Iran on the basis of arrangements to be manually agreed upon. To prepare these 2 cascades for installation of a new cascade architecture appropriate for stable isotope production by the joint partnership, Iran will remove the connection to the UF6 feed main header and move cascade UF6 pipework, except for the dump line, in order to maintain vacuum. The storage in Fordow under IAEA continuous monitoring. The Joint Commission will be informed about the conceptual framework of stable isotope production at FFEP uh, for 4 cascades with all associated infrastructure remaining except for pipework that enables crossover tandem connections. 2 will be placed in an idle state and not spinning. The other 2 cascades will continue to spin until the transition to stable isotope production described in the previous subparagraph has been completed. Upon completion of the transition to stable isotope production described in the previous subparagraph, these 2 spinning cascades will be placed in an idle state and not spinning. Iran will remove the other 2 cascades of IR1 centrifuges from this wing by removing all centrifuges and cascade UF6 pipework, including subheaders, valves, and pressure transducers at cascade level and frequency inverters. Also, subsequently remove cascade electrical cabling, individual cascade control cabinets, and vacuum pumps. All these excess centrifuges and infrastructure will be stored in the TANs in Hall B of FEP under IAEA continuous monitoring. Iran will remove all excess centrifuges and uranium enrichment related infrastructure from the other wing of the FFEP. This will include removal of all the centrifuges and UF6 pipework, including subheaders, valves, and pressure gauges, transducers, and frequency inverters and converters, and UF6 feed and withdrawal stations. Also, subsequently remove cascade electrical cabling, individual cascade control cabinets, vacuum pumps, and centrifuge mounting blocks. All these excess centrifuges and infrastructure will be stored in the TANs in Hall B of FEP under IAEA continuous monitoring. Okay, centrifuges from the 4 idle cascades may be used for the replacement of failed or damaged centrifuges in stable isotope production at Fordow. Iran will limit its stable isotope production activities with gas centrifuges to the FFEP for 15 years and will use no more than 348 IR1 centrifuges for these activities at the FFEP. The associated R&D activities in Iran will occur at the FFEP and at Iran's declared and monitored centrifuge manufacturing facilities for testing, modification, and balancing these IR1 centrifuges. The IAEA will establish a baseline for the amount of uranium legacy from past enrichment operations that will remain in Fordow. Iran will permit the IAEA regular access, including daily, as requested by the IAEA, accepts or access to the FFEP in order to monitor Iran's production of stable isotopes and the absence of undeclared nuclear material and activities at the FFEP for 15 years. I think I'm done with this one for today. It's kind of boring. It's just technical stuff. So anyway, I'm going to stop this here. I will talk to y'all later. Getting bored out of my mind with this particular document. But anyway, talk to y'all later. Have a good afternoon. Bye.